I sold the Playboy mansion. People know me for that. For $105million. I think just a few years before that, I was ready to quit real estate. Couldn't stand real estate. And after I sold that house, it was the biggest sale in the United States. And then I remember I was at an event that you were at in Vegas, and he says in front of 5,000 people, how are you going to top that? I go, I don't know how you top that. And then I said, I'm going to sell something more expensive. I said, I have no idea if that exists or how to do it, but I'm going to do it. And a couple of years later, I sold a house for $150 million.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to Glennda's Guru. I am so excited today. So today I have Gary Gold, and I was just sitting here thinking about the first moment that I met you. And I was like, oh my stars. I mean, obviously you're a legend in the real estate arena, and you've got accolades from top to bottom, here to there. But tell me, just for the people who may not know you, give us a brief introduction.
I'm just a real estate agent like everybody else, the story. And I've had some just epic wins, and it has not been the prettiest rise to the top. I've had a very rocky road, a lot of ups and downs, but I've been selling houses it is bizarre. I'm in my fourth decade of selling real estate. And the highlights is I sold the Playboy mansion. People know me for that. And for $105million. Kind of interesting about that, just a few years before that, I think your volume's off. I think just a few years before that, about 4 or 5 years, I was ready to quit real estate. Couldn't stand real estate. I've had several moments like that, but I couldn't get arrested 5 years earlier, and then I figured something out. And after I sold that house, it was the biggest sale in the United States, 105 million, biggest sale ever in Los Angeles. And then I remember I was at an event that you were at in Vegas, and Tom called me out because the day before I sold the Playboy mansion, and he says in front of 5,000 people, how are you going to top that? I go, I don't know how you top that. And then I said, I'm going to sell something more expensive. I said, I have no idea if that exists or how to do it, but I'm going to do it. And a couple of years later, I sold a house for $150 million. Now, all being said, I just removed contingencies yesterday on a house for 2.2, and I am pumped. It's a total fixer, 2.2, great street, Los Feliz, and that's just as important to me. And it's that simple. And I've been doing it for a long time. Like you, I speak a lot. I like teaching other agents what I do. And in a nutshell, that's who I am.
I love it. So Gary, you're right. So we were at a Tom Ferry conference together, and that was kind of how we connected. And I love it that you're like 2 million to 200 million and everything in between. That is so cool. So,
well, if I just relied on the big ones, they're very inconsistent. I call them Super Bowl rings. They're really good for the business. They can be great in a good market when a lot of them are selling, and a lot's not. You don't have to sell a lot. It's not like you
right.
sell. But I like to sell houses that I like with people I like that'll sell. There's nothing sexy about having a bunch of overpriced, expensive listings in your neighborhood that aren't selling. It's actually soul crushing. So I would say, a lot of people come up to me and I always go, how do I raise my price point? I want to get into luxury. So, well, the first thing you need to do, and I learned this from Tom, it was a great idea. He goes, you need to analyze the market. You don't want, I've had people come up to me and saying they want to sell $1 million homes, and maybe 2 of them sell a year in their neighborhood. So it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and you make a great point that you don't get to play the Super Bowl every Sunday. But as long as you're playing every Sunday, you're getting paid, right?
Well, you know what? Just the happiest, most successful, most best agents out there are always making slight nuanced adjustments to their business to sell. I love what Tim Smith says. I'm here to serve and to sell. He's not here just to list overpriced listings. That's not turning him on. He's a smart guy. I mean, and he's in the same kind of market. You can get stuck having all this overpriced inventory that costs you money that's not selling. You're not serving your client. You're not serving yourself. You're not serving the market. Um, so whatever you're doing, you should be in a business where you're moving inventory, or it will blow up on you. It really will. We're all so capable of getting stuck in some trying to do something new, or not seeing any changes in the market, where we're doing the same thing over and over and over that isn't working. And maybe we realize that we're doing something wrong when we run out of money. It's,
Yeah.
we're all these like little companies, our
Yeah.
individual companies. All of us are running our own business. And I don't, there's some agents that are really sophisticated, like administrative and running a business wise. And then there's other people that are just great salesmen that happen to be also by default running a business. I probably would fall more under that category than the second category, because I don't sell that many homes. I just sell some good sized ones.
So when you say you don't sell many homes, like how many is not many?
It varies, but I would say that usually 3 or 4 homes in a year will make up a big portion of my commission. On average, if I look back 20, 30 years, it's like 20 houses a year, something like that would be on average.
Well, I love to say that is high impact. So you're not running through $200,000, $1,200,000 houses, because that's a lot of lift.
You
And
know what? It's a different business. It's a different business. Now, some people do that beautifully, and there
right,
is some benefit to it. It's like not that you don't care, but no one thing is going to really move the needle. You can be super objective.
right,
You're like on
100%.
an assembly line, okay, this one's no good, this one's no good. And with me, I have deals that, matter.
Well, I love that. Now, there's something else. I'm sorry, I have a little ragweed allergy. Um,
I
there's
assume
something
that.
else. Yeah, so I've been coughing my brains out. So it's ragweed season in Atlanta. That's why I'm a little nasally. That's why I'm coughing my lungs out. I'm trying to mute when I cough really bad. That's why I have a cough drop. But anyway, I digress. So there's something that you're doing that's really interesting to me, and that is this class that you have started.
Yes, I teach I call it a 4 week mentorship, called Compete and Beat the Best. And I've had so many experiences where I've been really successful for a myriad of reasons, had setbacks, and we all do. You do it long. We're in businesses that are decades long. We're not football players, play 6 years. So we have setbacks, real setbacks. It's all possible. Health, personal, business, it all happens. And every time I've had one, I've come back stronger. And I was really influenced by going from couldn't sell a $3 million listing to 5 years later selling the Playboy mansion. And and I remember I beat out the best agents in the country for that listing, and I didn't have the credibility to get it. I just had an opportunity, and that literally. And then I've been speaking for like 15 years, and the whole thing turned into. I literally open up my playbook and I teach a course on the 4 fundamentals of where all the money is, and I really like it. I love teaching other agents how to succeed, and I love getting the feedback. What's cool about this course is it's very actionable. It's not like you don't take it so you'll get all pumped and inspired, even though you will. I put people to work week one to do things that are not, but seem like magic to them. I have people walking away from after the first week with business that they've got they literally got from buyers and sellers they forgot about.
I love that. I love that. So If you went back, and you've been in it 4 decades, you went back
Yes.
and it's your first year in real estate, knowing everything that you know right now, what are the 3 things that you wish you had done in year one?
Okay. First of all, I really wish I would have recognized what a great business I was in. And I've hated it for a good portion of my career. I wanted to do something else. Now, that's not the case today, but it has been for a long time. But even to today, I'm like teaching courses, I'm doing other things. So I really wish I recognized what a great business it is. Um, I also wish I had worked a really defined area or very, very specific. Specialists make more than generalists. If you work in, I don't know, like if you worked in just Beverly Hills, Bel Air, West Hollywood, you're not moving from there. That's your wheelhouse for the most part. And you focused on that, or just Beverly Hills flats, even better. The more specialized you can get, the more expertise you become in that. I went a route that was different. Now, it worked out. My route is I'm a specialist in these ultra luxury properties that are very hard to sell. And I've sold a lot of them, but I sell everywhere in Mexico, and I'm selling, I have Los Feliz and Pasadena and everywhere all over the place. It's just a harder business to do that. It's much it's a much easier, more scalable business. Like probably one of the smartest guys, if not the smartest. One of them is the guy named Chris Cortazzo in Malibu. All he sells is Malibu. Rarely will he take a listing out of Malibu. He probably have to twist his arm. And that's not a small area, but that's what he does. He has never wavered at all, super successful, and that's what he does. David Offer is the same in like Brentwood, where people really specialize. So I would say that would be number two. Um, and what would be the third thing I'd want to do? I thought when I started this business, I thought I had a special situation. I thought I could apply these principles that other people were teaching or doing. And I just thought I had this special thing. I remember the first time I started coaching, the idea of tracking and measuring and all your calls and time blocking seemed foreign to me. I thought I was just basically, I had these really high maintenance clients, really demanding, and I was at their beck and call, and I had to just roll with it. And that's a mistake. You need to have structure. And everyone, especially when you're the expert, likes the structure if you give it to them. They don't want to be calling the shots. I don't care who they are. They do not want to be calling the shots. And often the bigger they are, the more they want to be directed
Yeah.
by somebody who has a plan.
Right. Somebody that they trust. And, I
Yeah.
think that that's one thing. If from an outsider's perspective looking in, I'm always convinced that you know exactly the roadmap to get me from point A to point B. Everything I've ever watched about you is while you are an artist in your lane of genius, you know exactly where you're going and how to get there. And I think
One
that
thing
that
I've learned,
is
yeah, one thing I've learned, and the bigger my clients, the more in the numbers and specific I get with them.
right.
And often these super successful people will ask you the same question 5 or 6 times, and they'll just keep on asking and pushing. And I mean, I get and these guys, girls, whatever, do like it when you're definitive. You don't tell them what you think. Maybe we'll do that. What do you think? I consider myself a surgeon. When I go in there, it's like you have a torn ACL. We need to get
Right.
that taken care of, and this is what we're going to do. Well, I think, you know what? I don't care what you think. You run a hedge fund. You don't know the first thing about your torn ACL. Let me help you here, and we'll take care of it. Um, and I think people do dig that. I always think that, especially when markets are very, we're in a questionable market. Don't understand that. I think you get like to come with people that you're positive, you're not bullshitting them or sugarcoating, but it's like almost like, okay, yes, I am your tour guide and this cave just closed up. I will get us out of here. Yes, this is a serious situation. This is how we're going to do it. Follow me. Not where, what the fuck, or I don't know, or let me think, or what do you think? That
Well, and
hedging your opinion is only good if you don't know what you're doing. But if you know what you're doing, don't do that. No one's going to respect you for that.
well, what I love about you is your clients make a lot of money because you provide clarity and certainty to give them the comfort to make the right decision. And that's
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I mean, really, that's what it is. And you're not. It's not like, oh, well, I think we should do this or I think we should do that. You're telling them this is the route that we're taking. And it's so interesting, but you speak with such authority that I'm following you off the cliff. I'm going with you because I believe that you know where we're going.
I work with a lot of big agents, and sometimes we collaborate. Josh and Matt Allman do the same thing. Tim Smith does the same thing. It's no, Drew Fenton does the same thing. Gitlin does the same thing. That's why they hire us. They don't want to hire someone weak
Right.
to push around. And the other thing that to that point, here's where people get a little disconnect. I don't think anyone's buying anything or anyone's selling anything until they know themselves and they are educated on the marketplace, how it relates to what they want to buy or what they sell. People often get frustrated when they get a listing and the seller isn't he gets a great offer and he doesn't take it. That's just because he doesn't know the market. So I think you should put a lot of effort into educating people what the market is. Don't tell them anything, teach them. And sometimes you just, and it's best to educate someone on the market before there's a decision to be made. When there's a decision to be made, they take it personally. If you're telling about the market 6 months before they're a seller, and in high end, the gestation period is often long, educate them way in advance. By the time you get a listing, you have a educated seller and a fairly priced listing. If they don't know what the price is, hey, listen, every person on this podcast is listening. If they didn't know what the real estate they owned was worth, their guess would be more than it is. 20, 25% more than it's worth, depending on the
Right.
marketplace. They're just going to think it's worth more. I did. I mean, we all will. So people need to get educated. Buyers, the same thing. They'll lose the first 3 or 4 deals, and then they'll get an education, and then they'll probably overpay.
Right. Because you've given them the knowledge and they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Again, they're following you off the cliff. I love that. Gary, thank you so much. I told you I wouldn't keep you long. Thank you for being
That wasn't
Glenda's
long.
guru this week in the Glennda Gazette. That's my newsletter.